Okay, guys, welcome back. This is going to seem like a very shallow exercise, but I'm going to kind of take you through a dream I went through, and I want to kind of give you a little background to get you ready. Imagine that, as shallow as it seems, you dyed your hair a color you've always wanted, only it did not come out the color you thought it was going to. Okay, you try to maintain it for a while. Then you get so disgusted you declare to Loki, I'm dyeing it black. I have totally given up on my hair. I'm dyeing it jet black. Okay. You go to sleep that night and you are on a stone surface. It's sort of like huge stones set in the ground in a circular pattern. It's like completely locked together like a cobblestone surface. And there are 12 columns around you, white columns, maybe Roman, maybe Greek, but you know, they're 12 really tall columns. And you're on this cliff looking out over the sea, and it seems like bliss. And while you're there, you have the thickest, longest, most beautiful, luxuriant white hair. It's so brilliantly white, it shines like the moon. With me so far? Okay. But suddenly, even though you are there and you are in bliss and you have the most beautiful white hair possible, you find you keep popping out between two columns. And each time you go between two different ones. And every time you pop out, you take it into your hair. You take it into your hair. You take it into your head that you want to dye your hair a different color. Sometimes it's jet black. Sometimes, because you haven't had it so long, it's brown. Sometimes it's canary yellow, or scarlet red, or silver, or blue, or purple, or rainbow, or, you know, any and every color possible. Maybe you put techno lights in it. Maybe you have silver, you know, metallic extensions. But every time you have gone off and done this, and you're running around with your coffee in your hand, or whatever your beverage of choice is, and you are enjoying yourself, and feeling very secular, you get pulled back in, and you are with Loki. And you are with Loki in the form I'll call the healer, where he wears a white robe, this beautiful, luxuriant white robe, you know, hood and beautiful and everything. And he has the most beautiful, long white hair you have ever seen on a god. It is, you know, it is beautiful hair. You cannot describe it until you see it in person. And he has the, you know, most flawless complexion, beautiful eyes. They can change whatever color you find most pleasing is probably going to be what color the eyes are. You know, beautiful facial features. Whatever you find attractive, that's what it'll look like. And, you know, as long as you're there, you're sort of in this partnership with him. He's not only your teacher, but, you know, he's sort of learning from you as well, because he's always saying, what did you learn this time? What did black hair teach you? What did blue hair teach you? What did green hair teach you? What did that punk look teach you? What did a mohawk teach you? Whatever you know, whatever style you chose. And because he's Loki, and because I'm dropping coffee everywhere, sorry, you realize that every time you'd redone your hair, every time it was a different color, it certainly changed the way you looked at yourself and the way you held yourself. Maybe when it was red, you were real outspoken. Maybe when it was back to brown, you like chilled out and you didn't bother people. Maybe when it was punk, you were ready, you know, punk green mohawk, you were ready to go take on the world. And you went and you did projects you've always wanted to, but you didn't have the gumption to. And you said, I was really happy with every hairstyle I had, but I was only tapping into parts of me that were already there. And Loki's like, you're a genius. You're a genius. It only took you 16 recordings to come up with that one, brilliant. You're a genius. So, you know, it took me all day to figure that out. But it's true. And it's not like Loki saying, don't dye your hair. It's actually, he's saying that, you know, when we're dyeing our hair sometimes or doing anything else, like putting on makeup or fingernail polish or clothing or anything else, we're kind of emulating him because he's a shapeshifter. He transforms. He can look absolutely any way he wants to. And he will make the outside look in a way that for you makes sense to the message he's trying to convey. You may never see Loki with beautiful long white hair. I pray you do. I pray you do. He looks gorgeous. But in that form, he's like behind me. He's like, in that form, he's like, that's very generous, but that's not the point. But, you know, that is the form I see as a teacher, and that is the form. I'm pumping the mic. I better put my glasses back on. That is the form that will, you know, with me, will teach me certain things that, you know, with the redhead, it's like we're buddies, we're pals, we're littler mates. We'll kind of go to loggerheads against each other and, you know, lock horns and be at each other. And, you know, his black-haired form that he's come to me for eons before Marvel Loki was a thing. The black-haired version, I think he actually based it off a Tim Curry character. He is a teacher then, too, but he's the no-nonsense teacher. He's like the not evil, but dark magic teacher. He's like, I will teach you, but you're going to pay attention, where the white-haired is more gentle and loving and caring. And the healer probably won't bake me cookies. I'm just sensing amusement. So, yeah. So, it was kind of like his go-ahead, because we had actually been bickering about, could I dye my hair black? Because I was like, I hate this red hair now. I dyed it and it looked groovy, and now it just looks, ugh. Well, for one thing, we never get the sun in Pennsylvania. And for another thing, my hair only looks beautiful, and you can only see the hair if I'm under a UV light. Let me see if I can try. Let me pause for 1 second, see if I pop this UV light on, if it will help. Okay, no, of course not, because it's still wet. I'm such a genius. But, you know, the point is, he was not saying don't ever dye your hair or don't ever, you know, experiment. It was to know that whatever you're tapping into when you do dye your hair, it's legitimate. It's part of you that was already there, but having, you know, dyeing your hair to reach it, that's as legitimate as anything else. I mean, like, I usually have 4 piercings in both ears. Oh, I shouldn't have touched that hair. Yeah, some of them get cranky and act up sometimes, the piercings, but, everything we do, every body modification we do, whether it's, like, the style of glasses we pick or how we, you know, do our care or whatever, it's legitimate and it falls under his purveyance. So, since tomorrow is roughly 2 weeks, even though I did that touch up in the middle, I'll be good to go because I use permanent hair color and I can re-dye. I think it was him letting me know I was good to go, and I have his blessing. It's just to know that what we're drawing out when we do these things, it's always been there in us, but it's okay to need something. It's not like other religions where it's a sin to need a hair color, or it's a sin to need certain eyeshadow, or it's a sin to use nail polish or something like that to feel battle ready or feel confident or feel sexy or whatever. No, he's the god of, you know, transformation. So he's definitely the god of, if this makes you feel better, if this makes you feel more empowered or sexy or smarter or virus or whatever, or this sends a message to the world, they better back off because I'm not in the mood today. You go ahead, you do it. You go ahead, you do it. Now all I need is for him to cough up my Icy's blue eyeshadow, which all the gods have been trying to help. I have been looking everywhere. I've been praying to Apollo and Isis, and I get it back. And I can't imagine ever having thrown it away unless I ran out of it, but it was the most beautiful blue. I think it was like from LA Colors, but I loved it because it was blue. And when you lifted it out, the little tiny micro applicator was underneath. That was like so convenient. It wasn't like the compacts that you get where like you open the compact and if you open it wrong, it like the brush falls out and then it's like somewhere. It was really, really nice because your little applicator was always hidden underneath. So, you know, that was interesting that he would remind me of that, but it was interesting that the healer would remind me of it, but he was like, you do what you want. You really want to dye the hair blue? You want to dye it black, you want to dye it orange, you go ahead, but you know. And then as I woke up, instead of being the loving god, this snark machine was back in charge, so we were like geckering like foxes at each other. And I got my beauty kit in. I got my e.l.f. makeup, my foundation, and I got my HD powder, which I thought looked pretty cool, but I don't have it on right now. I just, you know, did the cold bath thing. And I got my leggings in every color of the rainbow, and so far I like them. I only wore the red pair, but so far I like them. I mean, for like schlumping around the house or maybe around town, I don't know. I don't know yet if I'm gonna like wear them to exercise or anything. I'm not sure how adorable they are at $6 a piece, but you know, I still like them. I mean, if I'm going out in the park anyhow, I'm wearing jeans. Like these things would just snag and I'd be naked coming home. Woo woo. But yeah, he's definitely a different kind of god. Because like I said, we were geckering at each other this morning, and I went up and I showed my friend the leggings, and she's excited, and I'm excited, and I'm coming home, and I really shouldn't have, but I ordered some more cheeseburgers from her. She makes good cheeseburgers. And I'm coming home, and Loki smelled cheeseburgers, and he's like, cheeseburgers! I love you! Everything's forgiven! So yeah, he's strange. He won't take credit a lot of times for his lessons, and he won't, least with me, he will leave me alone as long as it takes for me to learn the lesson on my own. It doesn't matter how many times I come up with the wrong answer and want to cry, he will just leave me on my own. With someone else, he might be, you know, like a lot more hands-on and be like, oh no, sweetie, this is what I meant. And if it was, like, vitally important, I think he would tell me. But if it's something he wants me to learn on my own, he'll just let me stumble around until I get it. So, I hope you guys like what you see. Happy Loki's Day, because my throat is super scratchy. I can't record anymore at this point. And if you're on both channels, I do think I'm going to give the other channel a rest. I'm just too burnt out to play another video game as long as I live at this point. Maybe, you know, give it 6 months or a year, but if everybody keeps coming up to me and asking and saying, are you going to play a video game? Are you going to play? I'm going to be like, nope. Never doing it. So I might not even check that channel for a week or so. But, you know, we all get burnt out. I got burnt out as a writer, and it's been 2 years now, and maybe I've written small pieces here and there, but, you know, that muse left the building a long time ago. So, yeah. Just, I hope it finds you well, and, you know, it's an interesting thing to think about, to think you have a god that's, like, super supportive. And no, I don't think I'll be dyeing it black. I do love the red, and I've watched too many videos where sometimes the black looks on point, and sometimes people do the black and it looks bad. It looks like a fright wig. And since, you know, it's not pure pigment, it's not like absolutely pure red and nothing else went on my head. There's like 6 or 7 colors to get you that red. And the black's the same way. I'm like, knowing me and the chemistry of my body, I would get some kind of weird, strange, beautiful color, but it would not be black. I might get, like, Loki was like, you're going to end up with dirty gray, if anything, I bet you. You go ahead, try it, but I bet you're going to get dirty gray. And I even tried to look up what color would I get if I dyed black on top of red, and I could not find any feedback. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just stay with the red for a while. I think as it warms up and I can actually go out in the sunshine again, if there is still sun up there, you can't tell in Pennsylvania. I think I'll appreciate having the red. It's just, you know, I am a little vain. It never shows up in this camera, and that's I think the biggest disappointment. Because if this camera worked like my mirror, it's like deep purple, and if I go outside, it's reddish, more red. But like in this camera, it looks mousy brown. You would, if I tell you I dye my hair, you'd be like, uh-huh. You can't even see it in this camera. So, there you go. I know I rambled on, and I know it sounds like pretty shallow to talk about hair color, but, you know, he'll use whatever you're into at the moment to teach you a lesson. If I wanted to go get, like, more piercings or something, he will probably have a lesson involving that, too. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.